Hello, and welcome to our fourth session of CPAC Summer School. This summer, we've been talking about inclusion, and today's session is about inclusion in your community. For those of you who are new to the Federation, I hope you check out our website at www.fcsn.org. We have lots of information, and you can also access some of our recorded sessions on our YouTube channel. Today's learning objectives are to just kind of review what we've been talking about this summer, some of the definitions on inclusion and belonging, looking and understanding about the impact of disability in our community and who's affected. I think we'll explore the concept of community inclusion and talk about some of the opportunities and partnerships that CPACs might have to build capacity and to make our communities a little bit more inclusive for students with disabilities. So I found some nice definitions at the Richmond University website, and it speaks about inclusion being an intentional act. And I think that's what we're discussing this summer is how can we take those steps to intentionally change the way we're doing things, provide more opportunities, look at things a little bit differently. So inclusion is the intentional act of including difference and creating those environments where any individual or group is welcome, respected, supported, valued, and given the opportunity to participate fully within the community. So that's why we want to also look beyond the school border to the community because our students live in a community and we want that community to support them outside of school. It also fosters a sense of belonging. And the definition here of belonging is the extent to which people know and feel that they are valued, respected, included, and celebrated for their individual and unique contributions and identities. And I think that's why we are talking about inclusion, why it's important to focus on that as an element of the work of the CPAC. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, the ADA, mandates that people with disabilities will have the freedom, equality, and opportunity to participate fully in public life. And you can go to this site, communityinclusion.org, to read a larger article on what we mean when we talk about inclusion. One resource within the community might be a disability commission, a municipal board that is each town and city has to decide whether they want a disability commission. And then those people are appointed by town officials to meet regularly and to look at is the community meeting the disability related needs of the people who live in that community, our businesses abiding by the ADA accessibility when appropriate. And so this might be a partner for a CPAC to look at how your community is functioning and making it accessible for all. Because disability impacts many people in the United States. Right now, it's 1 in 4, or a little over 28%. Disability inclusion is really including those people in everyday activities, creating those accessible environments, and creating equitable opportunities to participate. So it's more than just encouraging people to participate. We have to make sure that there are adequate policies and programs and practices in effect within the community so that there is that opportunity to be engaged and part of that community. Our CDC has a good website with an article on, what does it mean to become a disability ally to, make sure that we are creating those inclusive communities. So the ultimate goal of community inclusion is really participating across a wide range of areas and look at all of these different things listed here. We talked about, inclusion in schools, so in educational environments, but it also goes into the community with respect to, say, housing, employment. Today, we'll talk a little bit about, recreation and leisure, civic engagement, making it possible for all individuals to be part of decision-making and advisory boards in your community and receiving that peer support. The communitymainstreaming.org has a nice blog about what is community inclusion. So there's lots of resources for CPACs to kind of learn a little bit more about these topics. I did find this on LinkedIn, and I thought it was a really good article, and it said 4 easy ways. I've just kind of picked three of them of how a CPAC can really start to become aware of what's in your community. So I think CPACs can start to attend and support some of the cultural events in your community and learning about the traditions that make your neighborhoods unique. That would help break down any stereotypes and also spread the word of what you do and how you can support different communities within your own town, city or town. Supporting diverse-owned businesses. You're promoting those fair opportunities for them to thrive in the community. It strengthens the local economy, and you're building new partnerships along the way. CPACs can also choose to volunteer with organizations that serve different groups, making that meaningful contribution, but also building those friendships, building those connections, building those partnerships, because at some point they might be able to support you in your work. So it's really taking the time, that intentional act to get involved, to learn, and to make those connections, to build inclusion in your community. There are many opportunities for partnerships and ways that you can meet with different groups to understand what they're doing and how maybe you can support a more inclusive approach. Many CPACs reach out to their local recreation department to see what programming is happening, how can they make it accessible for students with disabilities, and maybe what are some of the what's some information that you might be able to bring to them to inform them about how to make programming more inclusive. Any local organizations such as YMCA or Boys or Girls Club may have some programming. Once again, can you do that outreach? Can you find out what's happening? If there is something that is geared for a specific disability type or has inclusive programming, how are you communicating that to members of your CPAC so that they are aware of that? Part of that is just being the cheerleader to support things that are happening in your community. Are there any community organizations? We talked a little bit about all the sports groups, like the Challenger and Top Soccer, and I don't know all the names of them. But what is happening within your community, and how can you make sure that families are aware of these opportunities for students? Are there any religious organizations that are doing things within your community? It's all like looking at who are your community partners? Where can you help the community organizations understand the needs of maybe people with disabilities, sensory-friendly events or options within their programming? I'm just mentioning two programs here. Merge is a consulting group, and they've worked with a lot of CPACs and communities across the state. On their website, they have, what does inclusion really mean to really empower all of the different community programs to be equipped to successfully support and include individuals of all abilities. The Federation welcomed the Special Olympics Unified Sports to one of our community events, and we recorded their presentation. It's just another option of, looking at how do we make inclusion happen within the community, within the school community, and that's just a nice model. During the live session, we had people mentioning the spedchildmass.com website. They have a nice newsletter. You can kind of find out about every event within the state. They really do a great job of including that. And then people also mentioned the I Can Bike program, which comes in to your community and helps people with disabilities learn how to ride a bicycle. All good programming, all focusing on, getting people out into your communities, enjoying your community resources, and participating and making those connections. So I think when CPACs start to think about, the work that they do, yes, they're an advisor to the school district on matters that pertain to special education and the safety of students with disabilities. But it can also go a little bit more if you have the bandwidth to look at how is your community supporting students and young people with disabilities. So that I think that creates that richer kind of approach to supporting people of all abilities. So if you want to have any questions or connect to the Federation, you can always reach out and call us, complete our online intake form, and ask your individual questions. Thank you for joining us today.